In this week's episode of Whitetail Cribs, we're headed to Iowa to make a quick stop to visit with Aaron, Jake, and Ted of the hunting public before they leave for the 2020 turkey tour. Get ready to see some familiar bucks they've tagged over the years on their YouTube channel and much more. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.
The Exodus team is traveling around the United States to take a look inside the trophy rooms of some of the most interesting whitetail hunters in the country. From giant bucks, unique racks, and riveting stories, welcome to Whitetail Cribs.
Hey, what's up, guys? Come on in. This is the ranch. This is the THP ranch, if you will. This is where me and Zach live, and if y'all don't know me, I'm Aaron from the hunting public, and Zach is my business partner. And Ted and Jake live right across the yard from us. We're gonna go over there in a minute, but figured I'd show y'all a quick tour of the house here. It's pretty simple. I've lived here for about 10 years now. I moved in here in 2011 when I was an intern for Bill Winkie at Midwest Whitetail, and I've lived here ever since. Had all kinds of different interns and buddies and stuff roll through the house, and me and Zach are living here now. But here's the kitchen, pretty basic. I got all kinds of random stuff scattered everywhere. Jake's dad's salsa jars all over the place. I got some mouse traps back here behind the fridge. I've been trying to catch the same mouse for like 2 years, and I just can't do it. I mean, I don't know what to do. Y'all got any tips? You might leave them in the comments below, help us out. But I got some traps baited back there right now for him. And yeah, you might come over here. This is kind of funny. This is actually one of the shelves from our pantry right here. I don't know what happened. Me or Zach spilled something real sticky on the carpet, and my socks were sticking to it, so we just took that shelf out of the pantry and laid it on the floor right there. But whatever, you know, just trying to make it work in here. Boot dryers, those are always in business. Here's my room in here. Kind of looks like a prison cell with a bunch of hunting equipment laying all over the floor. This is pretty much how it looks all year long. We'll come in here. Before I show you all the living room with the deer and the sheds and whatnot, we'll look in Zach's room. Hopefully it's not too offensive. This is where the long-haired man resides some of the time when he's not sleeping in a tent or on the road somewhere. We got all kinds of there's some empty jars of peanut butter in here. Among other things, we could probably make an entire Cribs episode just on his room and the things that are in there. Did you see the duct tape on the window over there? Actually, that's pretty cool. He's got some turkey feathers up there. We killed a bird a few years ago in Iowa on public land that had it was a color phase bird. He had like a bunch of white on his wings, and he took those wings and put them up in his blinds or whatever. But his window tends to creep up sometimes when the wind blows real hard, so he's taped it shut. Just trying to make it work. Here's the living room. If you all are familiar with our videos, we're usually not home very often. We're sleeping in a tent somewhere or on the road in a hotel or whatever, chasing turkeys or deer in some other state other than Iowa. But during the fall and the rut, we tend to have a bunch of people in here. There'll be 6, 7 people staying at our house, you know, for deer camp and whatnot. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, I've had a lot of different people living here over the years. Like I said, lots of different interns from the Midwest Whitetail days lived here. And Zach and I have lived here now for a couple of years, but lots of good memories in this little house. But I'll kind of take you around the room real quick. There's a widgeon that I shot when I was a kid. This is actually my buddy Pat McSherry's buck. He lived here in 2012, and I think he left in 2013, and he just hasn't ever came back and got him. So he's just residing here with me for the time being. That's Gould's turkey. And these two bucks are pretty cool. This is a buck that I killed in Missouri with my bow. I think I was 16 when I got him. And I've got some of my other bucks from Missouri before I even started in the outdoor industry, you know, in the years when I was a kid. I've got some more of them back at Dad's house, but I brought him up here just to, you know, it's a good memory. It's one of the first nice bucks I ever killed with my bow, so it's pretty cool. This is Zach's first Iowa buck, and that hunt was filmed on Midwest Whitetail, I think in 2015, mid-October deer. And it was a spot that him, myself, and Michael Perini went in and scouted. It was a real cool hunt. We took a canoe in, and he shot that thing. We had to go on a pretty crazy track job. I think we tracked the deer for like 16 or 17 hours straight before we finally got him. So that was pretty cool. I got a few turkey mounts running around in here and some sheds. Zach shot a bird in Oklahoma a few years ago that was basically standing on this shed when he shot him. And we walked up there. I was filming the recovery as he was picking the turkey up, and turned around, and this thing was just laying on the ground right next to the dead turkey. Pretty crazy story, but we got all kinds of crazy stuff in here. Oh, this is a cool deer. I'll talk about this one real quick. This is Zach's buck from the first year of the hunting public. I think this was like the biggest buck that we shot that fall. And he killed it on public land on the ground. Jake was filming him. There's a pretty cool picture of all of us with this deer after we tracked him, and then all of us drug him out. I think it was me, Jake, Brody, Zach, Greg, and Mindy all there. So that's a pretty great memory. That was a really fun night. Oh yeah. And then these. You can have one of these if you'd like. This is my senior picture. My mom made me get like a whole sleeve of these things to give to family and friends or whatever. Wearing my goofball leather jacket in there. Aaron from Paris High School, 2005. Got a whole bunch of them if you want to put one on your fridge. I better not let Jake have those. He'll have those all over social media. These are a couple bucks from Iowa. Those are, I think, yeah, both those were killed on film. Those are on Midwest Whitetail. And then I got a couple of these hanging turkey mounts in here. This is my first Osceola turkey that I killed, I don't know, it's been 6-7 years ago now. But come over here a little closer. You look down there, I've got some dryer sheets around the base of that turkey because that stupid mouse that I can't catch is getting in the back of my turkey mount over here. And every time I'd come home from a trip, there'd be a bunch more feathers scattered all over the floor where that sucker was digging in there and ruining my turkey mount. So Mindy came over here and put those dryer sheets on the ground or on the floor, and since then I haven't seen any fresh feathers. So I'm hoping that mouse has moved on. Hopefully not to my other turkey mount over there. Here's an elk from Arizona. That was a fun hunt. Bunch of turkey spurs from God knows where. Yeah, and that's pretty much the ranch. Pretty simple, pretty small, but we don't really spend a lot of time inside. So we come in here, fix something to eat, and crash, and that's about it. But let's go over to Jake and Ted's and see what we can find over there. There's all kinds of interesting stuff in their living room. Oh yeah, deer meat. This thing's full right now, but by end of July, 1st of August, it will be looking pretty light. We usually eat about 2 to 3 deer a piece in our whole group throughout the course of the year. And I'd say there's a couple deer in there right now. Most of it's ground up. There's a few loins and stuff left on top, but yeah. A lot of people ask what we do with the deer that we shoot every fall, and we eat. all of them. I mean, occasionally we'll donate one, but we haven't killed enough in the last few years to donate too many of them, because like I said, we eat 2 or 3 of them a piece, and there's a group of 7 of us, so constantly eating deer meat. But you guys ready to go over Jake and Ted's? Let's go over there and see what we can learn with those 2 this morning. Hopefully Jake is awake. We better hurry so we don't get wet. Got the canoe under there, bow target, kayak, some old bats from somebody's baseball playing days. Oh, this is pretty sweet. This is something that Ted packs around with him turkey hunting all the time. It's like a canoe seat, but you can just fold it up and tie it to the back of your vest, or you can throw it in the back of your pack. And if you balance correctly in that seat, you can just set up without a tree. It's pretty nice. Let's see what these idiots are doing in here.
I'm Jake Heubschman with the Hunting Public.
I'm Ted with the Hunting Public.
We live together right next to Aaron and Zach, so I don't know, we'll just start going around to the deer mounts, as I'd imagine that's how this goes, right? Good. All right. This is my room, not too interesting. I got a lot of arrows, a lot of hats. And I don't know, you guys can't smell it, but our house smells like cigarettes because our neighbor downstairs, he smokes cigarettes, and in turn all of our stuff smells like cigarettes too, so that's kind of interesting. Show me your room, Ted.
Do you want to see mine? Okay. Well, it's just a big mess pretty much. And I got hats up here, some signs, some pictures, Shane Simpson's little decal thing.
Tell them what the Shack Boys is.
That's from my band in high school. That was our name, so that's what we did. We wrote our name on a yellow shirt, but then this is where all the interns that come in sleep, right here next to my bed, so that's what they get.
This is our bathroom. This might be the first Cribs episode you guys have done where there's a deer mount in the bathroom. When we first moved here, we didn't have like stuff to decorate the walls, so this is one of Greg's mounts. Actually, he's another guy that's part of our group, and he just had it laying around his house, so we needed stuff to cover the walls, so we put a deer mount in our bathroom. I think that's just about it. It's our bathroom / laundry room, I guess. So that's downstairs. That's where Kenny lives. That's the guy that smokes the cigarettes. All right, I don't do like shoulder mounts on many of my deer. I guess it's something my grandpa always did. He just kind of skull plated them. I always liked it because you could pick up the deer and handle them. And I've filmed my hunts for so long and always taken nice pictures. So I guess the way I look at it is 50 years down the road, I'd rather have like nice pictures and footage than a crusty old mount. So this is my buck from North Dakota this year. It's my first velvet buck. You can check that out on the channel. I'm sure we'll flash a little footage of it here, but that was a pretty sweet hunt. And like I said, first velvet buck, so pretty cool. Freeze dried it. I guess that's the best way to do it. That's what the guy in North Dakota told me, so turned out pretty cool. And then this is my Kansas buck from this year. This is the one that Ted filmed, the one we shot right off the road. He pretty much died right in the road ditch. Like I said, that hunt's on the channel too, so. That was probably one of my favorite hunts from this year. And then this is a buck I shot. If we can get him out. There we go. This is a buck I shot in 2017 when I was an intern. Zach filmed me shoot it, and it was during the muzzleloader season here in Iowa. I don't know, it's probably one of the oldest type bucks I've ever shot. He's real gnarly. He had a bunch of like puncture wounds from fighting, I'm assuming. He had pus all over his brisket and stuff like that from fighting, so kind of a cool buck, broken tines, stuff like that. Real big body deer, so that was a cool hunt. And then I'll take you to this one over here. I'm from Wisconsin originally. We live in Iowa now, but this is a buck I shot in western Wisconsin. That was in like 2015, I think, middle of the October hunt. He came in feeding on some buckthorn and made a decent shot on him. And okay, I guess I don't really know what else to say. You guys will see the footage of it, so.
My turn. All right, so this one over here is mine, and it's a buck. That's actually my first buck I ever shot. That was with my dad during Iowa's youth season. Yeah, we were right behind our house actually. Climbed up, rattled a little bit. September 15th, and he popped out, and I shot him at like 60 yards with a little single shot 20 gauge, and yeah, that was my first buck.
You got the velvet hanging off there yet?
Yeah, velvet hanging off there and
That's
stuff.
Ted's radio collared turkey from last spring in Missouri.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool. So we got, Jake and I were hunting in Missouri, and Missouri closes at 1. You have to quit turkey hunting. So it was like 12:30, and we went out and struck a bird right off the road and ended up killing him at like 12:59. But then he ended up being banded and radio collared, so that was a pretty sweet hunt from last year.
Are you kidding me? Yes!
That's what I'm talking
Look at that.
12:59.
Are you kidding me?
Bandit. Bandit.
Are you kidding me?
And then this is the other one. This is from Missouri. Me and Jake shot this one in 2018 off the ground.
That's a pretty recognizable buck for people that watch the channel, I'd say.
Yeah,
That's
so
a pretty cool hunt that we had. We were sitting in, I don't remember what the date was, but we were sitting kind of in our saddles, and we were basically 80 yards off. We watched 2 bucks cruise down a trail, and we're like, all right, we need to get down there. So we just jumped out of the stands. We moved down there, and he made like a little makeshift blind, and he ended up, another buck ended up cruising down the trail, and he shot him off the ground at like 15 yards. So that was a pretty cool hunt. We got a lot of feedback on that one. So
yeah, there he is.
Ted plays guitar. He's in a band, obviously. He strums. I make him sing sometimes. But we just got a bunch of stuff laying around. We're kind of getting ready to turkey hunt here, so we got like our turkey vests laid out. We'll be turkey hunting next week, so I don't know. The place is kind of a mess, but that's kind of how it always is. I think that's actually Logan's deer. It's like an old coat hanger. One of our old interns, I think he forgot it here, but anymore we just hang our old bows up here. We sling recurve sometimes if there's squirrels in the yard during the fall. We got the blowgun up here, and we just take shots at the squirrels in the yard sometimes. I don't know if that's against city ordinance or not, but we also got the blowgun, and sometimes we take shots at it. We got a target on the wall over there.
That's the first shot in a while, I think, probably.
That's the first time that's ever happened. Usually it stays up, but. We found this picture. It was in an old abandoned trailer home down in Alabama. We were camped next to it, so we were checking it out. It was real rundown, but there's a bunch of old like bobcat mounts and stuff in there that were real mangy. But I guess we don't really have too much else to talk about, so you guys can head out. You guys got a long drive home, so Thanks for stopping by. Whitetail Cribs out.
Peace.